Hey guys, I'm the Beastly Sage, and I'm here to share the lessons of yesterday for success for today. Today I'm going to talk about an old lesson called "Don't Fall for Don't Fall for Sour Grapes." So I'm going to start off a little story from Aesop's Fable, which the title comes from. It's about a fox who comes along a tree with grapes on it, and the fox is very hungry, and it's like, well, let me get those grapes. Problem is, those grapes are like 10 feet high, so the fox tries and jumps to get after those tasty grapes, which he's very hungry for. He goes and goes until he kind of accepts that he's not going to get it. And he turns around and he says, hmm, probably sour anyway. So that's a very simple version of the story, but the main theme the story is trying to convey, you shouldn't just basically lie. You shouldn't lie about something just because you couldn't achieve your goal. So if you have a goal in mind and you can't achieve it for any reason, even that's for skill, luck, or anything, and you're not able to achieve it or achieve it in that moment, it's not a good idea just to act like the goal wasn't worth pursuing in the first place. What this is, it's pretty much a cope that people do. Well, everyone does. It's a natural human flaw. We do it to protect the ego. So we don't have to face the fact that we were not good enough to get that goal. I'll use a real life example. So about a year ago, I decided to start running a lot because I want to train for a marathon. So I was running pretty much every day, and I was running anywhere from a few miles to up to 7 miles a day. The thing was, when I started to get higher and higher mileage, I just started realizing how tough long distance running was. It got to the point where um, I ran a half a marathon. And for those of you who don't know, half a marathon is 13 miles. So I was running it, the highest distance I ever ran. And during the run, which was very tough on me, I realized that I know if I technically could run the marathon, but I personally felt like I didn't want to do it. And I got to that point because I realized that during the half marathon, fully realized, I fully understood how long a marathon actually is. And it's not just in my mind how I first thought that it was just, oh, just do 1 mile and then do 25 more miles. No, it's mentally taxing. And during that half a marathon, that took a lot out of me, and I'm very proud that I was able to finish it. But during that time, I kind of realized that I wasn't just mentally up to the task. Physically, yeah, I could have done it if I trained enough, but mentally, it's like I'm just not enough for this. What I didn't do, a conscious effort, was did not diminish the idea of a marathon, right? Because a marathon is extremely impressive, and I'm saying this now that when I was running my half marathon, I'm like, "Oh my god, that's people who ran 26 miles." I just gained a new kind of more respect for them because I really was somewhat experiencing how tough that is. When I kind of decided not to do it, that I was going to stop here and I'll be just satisfied with half a marathon. I did not remove the grandeur of an actual marathon by saying, "Oh, what is it worth?" It's just running around. It's just long distance running. Who cares? Or, oh, it's really not that hard. I just don't feel like doing it. Or, um, who actually cares about doing something like that? Or any kind of cope you can think of. Um, and it's very easy to do that, especially on goals that, ironically enough, that you really want to achieve. And that's because you don't want. It's very hard to come to terms with the fact that at that current moment you are just not good enough to achieve what you want. And when you decide to give up, you'll your mind will just naturally start giving yourself excuses of why you shouldn't do it or why it wasn't in the first place. Because and afterwards you feel better because it's like, oh, at least I didn't waste all that time, energy, money, anything. Didn't waste all these resources on something that didn't matter. I'm actually the smart one because I gave up, and that's where you see it's really cynical. You're never fully coming you're never fully coming face to face with the hardship it takes to achieve something truly valuable. When you experience failure, that's when you fully see who you truly are. And sometimes that's the hardest thing to see. You truly see what's your skill level, what's your qualities, your good and your bad. And that's more often than not very different from our perceived reality, how we want to see ourselves. So you start getting disconnected with who you are as a person and what you're capable of. And you might get this grandeur in your you'll get this grandeur in your mind of arrogance that, oh, thinking that you can do anything, but anytime you face adversity and you decide to quit, because once you face adversity you start to get grounded to reality, and those sour grapes will give you an easy way out. If you don't fall for this, if you don't fall for this common mistake, then it actually becomes not as tempting to quit. And the reason why is because when you fully start to understand who you are as a person and what your level is at that point, and from there you'll know where to improve. So next time you face that obstacle or another obstacle down the road, not only will you have persistence, but also you will be able to better appreciate why you failed instead of just blaming it on some other unrelated factor. So, again, next time you see some grapes hanging from a tree, don't just call it run. Oh, that's that's really corny. Anyway, that's the lesson. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.